This is a 2007 Honda CR-V all-wheel drive. It's got a mushy brake pedal, and I'm going to check the slides on all the brake calipers, and I'm going to check it for air intrusion, and if I find anything else, I'll have to go from there. Time to dig in and see what is happening. That's the first supply. That's the second apply. I got a lot more pedal the second time around. This vehicle has 148,000 miles on it. And since I got that mushy pedal, I'm going to check the slides on the calipers, make sure they're not frozen up, or there's no brake fluid leaks or any problems I can tell underneath first. I'm going to raise it up, take the rear wheels off, set it on jack stands, and have a look at the calipers and bleed the brakes. Taking the rear wheel off. Pads really ain't so bad, I guess. One of these is a special bolt, and then this one on top is the actual bleeder. It's got a rubber cap on it with a hole in it. Do not take the wrong one out if you're going to bleed these. The bleeder's always going to be on top to get the air out. This bleeds from the driver's side front wheel first to the passenger side front wheel second, then this wheel third, and the driver's side rear fourth. From the driver's side, it's like a circle, a clockwise circle. I finished bleeding all four brakes, starting with this driver's side. Just make sure you keep your master cylinder filled up better than halfway at all times while you're bleeding it. Two 12mm bolts, break them loose. If the inner pad is stuck in the caliper hanger, the slide, you'll have to take these 17mm bolts out. You can try and take the 12mm bolts loose off the caliper first and lift on the caliper. If it's hung up in there, you'll have to take these 17mm bolts out and take the hanger off with it. And you can use a 17mm backup wrench if this inside starts turning. Once you get those broke loose, and move on to your two 17mm hanger bolts. And you can remove the bolt out of the hose support bracket to help give you some room to work with. It's 12mm. I've checked the pins and the pads and held the caliper pistons in. They're doing what they're supposed to. Went ahead and put the hanger back on. Stuck the brake pad back in the caliper piston and the outer brake pad on the outer part of the hanger, and just drop the caliper down in there and tighten these 12mm bolts up. The caliper hanger 17mm headed bolts torque to 80 foot-pounds, and the 12mm bolts holding the caliper on torque to 17 foot-pounds. Once you get your caliper put back on, go ahead and put your hose support bracket bolt back in. It's 12mm. You can see a problem back here. So I'm going to go to the front. The lug nuts on these wheels torque to 80 foot-pounds. I think the master cylinder is bypassing, and I think the cups are worn out on the master cylinder. The pedal's been up and down 100,000 times that many miles, or 50,000 anyway. And the cups are bypassing when there's very little pressure load on them, and then when you reset the brake pedal, the pressure from the get-go expands the seals out enough to catch. I'll get on the master cylinder. I've got an aftermarket one here.